Imagine thousands of bushels of fresh American corn arriving from the fields, only to be damaged because the grain silo was not cleaned properly. For American farmers, cleaning a grain silo before harvest is not simply a routine chore. It is one of the most important steps in protecting an entire season's crop. As August comes to an end and the September corn harvest gets closer, farmers across the United States begin preparing their grain storage systems. Before the new corn enters the bins, everything must be checked, cleaned, and made ready. But why is cleaning so important? Inside a grain bin, small amounts of old grain can remain hidden in corners, floors, aeration ducts, and unloading equipment. These leftovers may contain mold, insects, dust, or damaged kernels. If they are mixed with the new harvest, they can create serious storage problems. That is why farmers start with a complete inspection. Workers first examine the inside and outside of the grain bin. They look for old grain, dust buildup, insects, moisture damage, rust, and areas where grain may have become trapped. Then the cleaning begins. One of the first areas farmers focus on is the bottom of the bin. Old kernels and grain dust can collect around the floor and aeration system. Powerful vacuums, brushes, and specialized grain cleaning equipment are often used to remove this material. The walls and corners receive special attention too. Even a thin layer of old grain can become a problem when thousands of bushels of new corn are added. Farmers want the storage environment to be as clean and dry as possible before the next crop arrives. But cleaning the inside is only part of the job. Farmers also inspect augers, conveyors, fans, vents, and unloading systems. These machines will soon be working for long hours during harvest, so any problem discovered now is much easier to fix than during the middle of harvest season. And there is another major concern: moisture. A clean grain bin is not enough if moisture can enter the storage system. Farmers check roofs, doors, seals, vents, and other areas where rainwater could get inside. Because once wet grain enters storage, the consequences can become expensive. Moisture can encourage mold growth, spoilage, and grain quality problems. That means the preparation happening before harvest can directly affect the value of the crop months later. And this is where American grain storage becomes fascinating. These giant metal bins may look simple from the outside, but inside, they are carefully managed storage systems designed to protect enormous quantities of corn. With September approaching, farmers are racing against the clock. The fields are getting closer to harvest, combines are being prepared, trucks are being checked, and grain bins are being cleaned. But before the first load of fresh corn enters the silo, there is still one more critical question. How do farmers make sure the bin stays safe and ready once thousands of bushels begin flowing inside? That is where the next stage of grain storage preparation begins. Once the grain bin has been cleaned, American farmers move to the next important stage, making sure the entire storage system is ready for the new corn crop. Cleaning removes old grain and dust, but preparation goes much further. Farmers carefully inspect the aeration fans and ducts because proper airflow is essential for stored corn. During storage, controlled airflow can help farmers manage grain temperature and moisture. If the aeration system is not working properly, hot spots can develop inside the grain mass. These areas may lead to spoilage and serious grain quality problems. That is why farmers test the fans before harvest begins. They also inspect unloading equipment, augers, motors, belts, bearings, and electrical connections. A small mechanical failure may seem insignificant before harvest, but when a full grain bin needs to be unloaded, even a minor problem can cause major delays. Next comes the inspection of the bin itself. Farmers check doors, roof panels, seals, vents, ladders, and other structural components. They are looking for anything that could allow rainwater, insects, or unwanted air and moisture into the storage area. This preparation is especially important because American corn harvest can move incredibly fast. When combines begin working across large fields, grain carts and trucks can deliver huge quantities of corn to the farm in a short period of time. There is no time to stop and completely rebuild a grain bin in the middle of harvest. Everything needs to be ready beforehand. But farmers are not only preparing the equipment. They are also thinking about what happens after the corn enters the bin. Freshly harvested corn can contain significant moisture, depending on field conditions and harvest timing. Farmers therefore monitor the grain carefully and use drying and aeration systems when necessary to bring the crop to a safer storage condition. Temperature monitoring is another important tool. Many modern grain bins use sensors that allow farmers to monitor conditions inside the stored grain. If temperatures begin changing unexpectedly, farmers can investigate before a small problem becomes a major loss. And this is why grain storage is much more than simply putting corn inside a giant metal container. It is a continuous process. Farmers clean the bin, inspect the equipment, control airflow, monitor temperature, manage moisture, and regularly check the condition of the stored crop. Every step is designed to protect the harvest that farmers worked months to produce. By late August, the preparation becomes especially urgent. Across the American Corn Belt, combines are getting ready, trucks are being serviced, grain carts are being positioned, and storage bins are waiting for the first loads of the new crop. Soon, the quiet grain bins will begin filling. Thousands of bushels of freshly harvested corn will move from fields into storage, and everything farmers prepared during the weeks before harvest will finally be put to the test. Because a successful corn harvest does not end when the combine leaves the field. The real challenge is protecting that valuable crop after it has been harvested. And inside these massive American grain silos, farmers are preparing to do exactly that.